What's going on, Paisanos? V here. Come at you guys, well, with another market watch today. Before I begin, I just want to say I just dropped about, within the past 3 days, $600 on 2 decks that I recently sold. And as much as some people might see that as like a weird flex, it's not. I sold these decks, and then I bought them back for more money. That's something I almost never do, but in the past 2 days I did, and that's because I'm getting ready for Lightning Overdrive. If you guys are new to the channel, please make sure to hit the subscribe button, like button, comment down below, and let me know, what are you doing to get ready for Lightning Overdrive? What deck are you working on playing? Let me know in the comment section down below. Before we begin with the cards, I think that are definitely essential for Lightning Overdrive, cards I personally bought myself. I just want to talk about Ancient Guardians and how the fact that besides Donruss or Prankatops, everything else in Ancient Guardians is going down, collector rare wise. And that's almost, well, that's pretty good, to be honest with you. That's a bit of an opportunity. Now, don't get me wrong, I think Skullmaster is going to tank, but Trading, the card I definitely said that you should focus on, is going lower and lower and lower. I said to go in and grab it roughly around $70, and it's already currently at $81 with a $91 market price. Keep an eye on this. Ancient Guardians is not a bad set, but in light of the next set we're getting relatively soon, why would you put money into this set when we're getting something that I do think is going to be better? So you might not need to care about playing some of these cards. One of the first things I want to talk about is Drytrons. Drytrons in the new set, Lightning Overdrive, is getting so good. Real quickly, I just want to say, before I begin, hit the like button, subscribe button, all that jazz, okay? And if you want to support this channel, TCG player, blah, blah, okay, in the description. Looking at Drytrons, they are getting a ton of new support. And yeah, Ben 10's hit to 1, but that doesn't really do anything for this deck, to be honest with you. This deck can use a ton of cards, including pre-preparation of rights to recycle Ben 10. It uses full to recycle Ben 10. And to be honest with you, this deck has so many more tricks with Diviner coming out and the new XCs coming out for Drytrons. If you are looking to pick up Drytrons, it's going to be a bit of money. I mean, don't get me wrong, if you want low rarity, you get a Mini Ash Drytron for $7, but you're still going to have to pay through Drytron Nova. With a $26 market price, the value of this card, well, besides all these kind of questionable sellers, is roughly around $32 a copy. And you're going to need 3 of these. You can't skimp out and play 2. 3 Novas are 100% needed. A card I recommend right now that nobody's looking at right now is the collector's rare version of Quantitrids. This card with a $20 market price is roughly around $23. Nobody's looking at this card, but this card's actually insane. It's a great side deck card. As well as Draconids, which is another phenomenal card with a $35 market price. And you can see it over here, the value is still roughly around $35. These 2 cards are absolutely insane, and nobody really respects these cards whatsoever, because when was the last time you seen play? What, with the debut of Drytrons? That's it? Huge. If you are looking to get a collector rare version of Minionish Drytron, this card with a $60 market price is not that anymore. It's roughly around 70. This guy did 6969. You're adorable, son. This card's roughly around $70. And you may or may not need a second copy of Minionish Drytron. Looking at all the deck profiles online, I'm seeing some deck profiles run 1 of these, and some deck profiles run 2 of these. So you're taking a gamble as far as if you are buying 1. Maybe you might need 2. Who knows? Another thing about Drytrons I just want to say is we know they're getting a super rare version of one of the monsters. I forgot which one it is. In the new OTS set, which will happen to come out as well, I believe next month, if I'm not mistaken. And then we're getting a ban list right afterwards. And now I don't think Drytrons is going to get hit in the ban list due to the fact that they're getting pushed in Lightning Overdrive. But you never know. The ban list is kind of random. Another card that you might need to consider picking up, and this is hit or miss. I see more decks play this card than don't play it, but with the new support, you may not need Herald Orange Light. It's kind of 50-50 right now to me. The current market price of this Ultimate Rare at an OTS 1 Pack 7, a card that used to be $6, it has an $81 market price, but that's not it. Looking right here, well, there's one listing for $75, and then it's $90 a copy for Herald Orange Light. Now, of course, you might need to consider playing Forbidden Droplet. What if you play against your dome matchups and you are playing Drytrons? Forbidden Droplet right now with a $120 market price is still at $120. This card's not going down anytime soon. You might say, well, V, we're getting Ultimate Rare coming out in a new OTS pack, so it might go down, right? So, no, that's not gonna happen. We know that's not gonna happen because when you look at Black Tussle Soldier, when it used to be $90 at Battle's Legends Heroes Revenge, with a $120 market price, and you still, I mean, $120 right now. This card used to be $90. the Ghost Ray God came out. The secret version of Black Soldier went down as low as, I believe, 70. The Ghost Ray right now is roughly around $335. Now, can that happen to Forbidden Droplet? To a degree. Obviously, Forbidden Droplet pulls are going to be easy to get, right? No. And let me explain. You see, with OTS packs, most stores can only get them, or most players can only get them in OTS stores by playing in physical events or buying them online. Okay, being the fact that we don't have physical events open up yet, you're gonna have to play it in remote duels. Okay, being the fact that the release date of OTS 16 is pretty much in the middle of the month, it doesn't really matter because if it comes out in June, I believe it's June, July is when we'll start seeing players get their stuff, and when players will actually physically get Forbidden Droplets might be until the first or second week of July. This card might be just like Nibiru, and if you don't know about Nibiru's worth a lot of money, and so is going to be Forbidden Droplet. It's going to be worth a crazy amount of cash. So what's going to happen to the Secret Rare? I do think it will dip a very slight, it will have a little slight dip, and after that dip happens, it's going to go back up. It might even go up higher due to the fact that, once again, if you are playing Drytrons, you're going to probably need this card, at least in the side. Another card that's, well, is a side deck choice, which I don't understand, is Vanitys Ruler. This card with a current $49 market price, you can get the Let You Play Unlimiteds for $49 roughly, or you get a first edition for $66. Now, in my opinion, I do think this card goes in the main deck. Yes, I know, V, Diviner Herald, have you read it? Sure, totally. This card's insane against almost every deck in the meta. First turn, if your opponent draws you, you still go into, you add that Vanitys Ruler, you still end with a Vanitys Ruler. Your opponent can't still special summon. How many players have answers this card turn 1? Not many. And that's what makes this card super unique. Now, does it go in the main side? That's to be discussed later on. But I do think Vanitys Ruler is a card that a lot of players are going to forget about in the beginning of Drytron format, and then slowly get involved later on as the format progresses. But this card is definitely a huge deal. Then we have Lightning Storm. This card with a $103 market price. The Unlimiteds are roughly around $99. First editions are about roughly around $110. Now, you might say, V, you're talking about a lot of money, Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Yes, I am. Because we're talking about meta decks. And if you want to play the best meta deck, and by the way, the reason why these decks are tier 1, because they have the highest percentage of representation amongst the top decks. I do believe that will be Drytrons. It, to me, is 100% going to be a tier 1 deck. No doubt in my mind. And if you play Lightning Storm, that gives you yet another 2 in your arsenal to stop your opponent. And you definitely want that. Lightning Storm's a card that a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh players are kind of not really wanting to buy right now because we were expecting to get a reprint. Never happened, by the way. And hopefully with the Megatons, we'll get a reprint. And I do think we'll get a reprint in the Megatons in September. This is what I thought out there. We have YCS VIP qualifiers coming up, as well as a YCS remote duel coming up. That's a huge deal when you take into consideration the fact that cards like Lightning Storm are out of a lot of players' reach, and those who main deck Lightning Storm will have the highest percentage chance of winning. And I do think if you are playing Drytrons, playing Lightning Storm is pretty good. Just really good, to be honest with you. Then we have Nibiru, one of the cards that's definitely might consider seeing play from the side deck into the main deck. Right now, Nibiru is for the most part a side deck card, and if you play locals, you're probably still going to play in the side deck because everyone in locals plays Rogue. But in big events, extravaganzas, remote duel invitational qualifiers, the upcoming YCS, the YCS VIP qualifier, we're going to see players play Nibiru in the main deck. And the reason why is because it's so good against so many things, especially when Drytrons come out. This card's amazing against them. And once again, you can get a gold and a prismatic figure in Niburu for roughly around $14 to $15. If you want to get the Ultimate in Niburu, this card with a $158 market price is roughly around $189. Now, before you go, that's a lot of money. This card was selling last week for a little over $400 a copy. Yes, don't get me wrong. This card's still insanely inflated. The market price is saying it's $158, but it's not. When this card came out, it slowly went down as low as $80. But OTS 14, and we're about to go in OTS 16, that's a big deal. Everybody who opened Nibiru more than likely kept theirs, and why would you not? It's an ultimate rare. Now, some people might go, V, I like the European misprints. I like the fact that everything looks correct. Not me. American misprint? Are you kidding me? That we can play and won't get in trouble for? Yeah, I'll take that one every day of the week. Another card you might want to consider picking up is Millennium's Eyes Restrict. This card is about to go higher. It's low right now. Nobody's looking at it. And it's definitely a card that does see play in some, not all, but some Drytron decks. You go Instant Fusion, you go Millennium Eyes Restrict. You don't have to worry about your opponent's hand traps, and you can do whatever you want to do. Also, it's a level 1 monster, so you can link it away if you need to. Pretty good. If you want the Legendary Duel Season 1 version of the card, it's roughly around $11 for now. I do expect this card to hit 20s. And if you want the Ultra Rare, it's already about to hit 20s. With a $15 market price, the value of the card is roughly around $18. Keep eye on this. It will go higher. All right. This is going to be hard to say. because I hate this card. But if you're playing Drytrons, just like if you're playing Dragon Link, just like you're playing Dinos, maybe even if you're playing Tri-Brigade, 50-50, I kind of like Desires more. You need Pod Prosperity. Like, you need it. It's not a maybe. It's not a, do I really? You need it. Now, here's the thing about Pod Prosperity. For every other deck in the meta, you don't need this card. This card's terrible. It's overpriced. Don't get it. But if you are playing Drytrons, this is easily one of the best cards you need, because you need your first turn to go off. If your opponent stops you first turn, it's pretty much GG. And before anyone's out there watching this video going, V, you know, Draw and Lockbird's really good against Drytrons. Not the new Drytrons. They don't care about Draw and Lockbird. You could put it in. You should put it in. It might slow them down, but slowing them down doesn't equal killing them. They will still make a board. Looking at Product Prosperity, I do feel like this card is definitely needed if you are looking to play Drytrons, because the amount of value you can get of Prosperity is insane. And a lot of players know that. So, with that said, we might now be entering into a format in which 3 of the tier 1 decks, at least, need Prosperity. Of course, there can be a balance. We can see Dragon Links get hit. We can see Dinos get hit. And only Drytrons will be out there. And then, obviously, the value of Prosperity will go down. There's always that possibility. With that said, if you're looking to play Drytrons, you need to get this card with a $98 market price. The card is, look at this, new sellers, 17.2. Like, I'm not reporting these kids. This guy, 100%, $100. $100 for Prosperity. And some of you might go, well, that's a lot of money. Some of you might go, I'll get it before you decide to buy it. Little fun fact, Prosperity Starlight Rare, which is going to maintain value no matter what, with a $425 market price, the value of this card is roughly around $440. To be stone cold honest with you, I'm probably going to buy Prosperity if I'm playing Drytrons. I'm still 50-50 on it. And if I do that, I'm more likely going to buy Prosperity Starlight Rares. Now, you might go, V, that's crazy. It's $1,200. It's a lot of money. Well, more than $1,200. Actually, roughly around $1,400. Look at Starlight Rares in general. We know Appaloosa, IP Masquerena, Win. These 3 are already almost there, $1,000 a copy. The thing is, it's going to happen to other Starlight Rares. Look at Ecclesia, $960. I'm shocked it hasn't happened to Zeus yet. It's going to happen to Lightning Storm. It's going to happen to Prosperity. It's going to happen to Triple Attack to Talent. It's going to happen to almost all these cards in time. But look at it, it's happening already. And nobody's dumbing back these cards like Appaloosa. Appaloosa's about to see play. We'll talk about that in a second. Nobody's dumbing Masquerena. Nobody's dumbing Wind. Wind doesn't see almost no play. But it's $915 with a $667 market price. Like, Starlight Rares, for a couple of $100 more of an investment, is what's going to maintain. In time, I mean, we saw already, Appaloosa has a reprint. It has also a reprint. I mean, Masquerena has a reprint. But yet the Starlight Rares are still worth even more so. Why is that? Because how easy is it for you to get? That's why I will buy Starlight Rares. Confidently. I don't care. I'll spend that money right now. It might look like a lot today, but it's really not. Whenever you inevitably sell these cards, if you do want to sell them, you're going to get an insane amount of money due to the fact that, well, nobody has them. And look at Prosperity right now. There's 19 listings, which is a lot considering the fact that IP Masquerena's 4, Wins 4, Appaloosa's 7. Like, there's a lot. But as the listings go down, the price gets jacked up. I mean, look at Dogmatic Ecclesia. It has 10. I predict Zeus will go up as well. It only has 16 currently. I would not be surprised this card goes from the value, especially the fact that it's going to see more play. So, let's talk about the other deck that I just also bought. I bought 2 decks. Embarrassingly so, I'll be honest with you. I thought I was done with these decks. I don't care. Don't get me wrong. Shadow Invoke still tier 1 deck, by the way. Both of these decks, they're scared out of their mind. And if you're gonna play like this and you're not scared of Shadow Invoke, cool, you become the buy. Like, both of these decks are scared out of their mind against Shadow Invoke. Just want to throw it out there. That's a tier 1 deck. That doesn't change. That's not going to change. You might go, well, V, Shadow's going to get into balance. Cool, they get Despias, and they become tier 1 again. Like, none of this matters. Like, I don't care what gets hit Shadow Invoke. It doesn't mean nothing to me. You have to hit both of these decks insanely hard for Despias to come out and not really do much. Which, why would Konami do that if they want to promote Despias? It makes no sense to me. In fact, not only that, I think Shadow Invoke's not getting touched at all. And if they do touch Shadow Invoke, and any way, shape, or form, Despia is filling the gap. We're already having problems making a 40-card version of Despia Shadow Invoked. This will just help us out. Like, that's the way to do it. Don't get me wrong, once again, I don't believe Shadow Invoke will get hit in the balance, but we'll talk about that in the balance prediction video. Up next, the other deck I bought is Tri-Brigades. Of course I did. Now, I could have easily went in and bought Starlight Rare Baron Blossom with a $245 market price, and it's roughly around $375 to $400, But why would you do that? This card's going down in value. This card at one point was $450. At low, it was $250, and it will go back down to $250. No doubt in my mind. Will it take a while? Of course it will. But eventually, it's going to settle. And I do think this is a great card, but it's overpriced right now. I'll wait. It doesn't belong to be this high in value. And like the other Starlight Rares, where we can go, oh yeah, this is going to get jacked up quickly. This will go back down in value. Let's not get it twisted. And if you want an ultimate version of Ferrigid the Burn Blossom with a $6 market price, it's right over here. It's $7 right there. You're probably going to need about 2. Then if you need to get your fractals, which you do need to get, this card with a $23 market price is about $26. You need 3. Then, of course, we have Tri-Brigade Airborne Assault. Now, there's 2 versions of this one. There's the one for the Steep Preview that nobody went to, so it's $15 for no ungodly reason, other than the fact that nobody went to it. Gross. And the secret version, which is definitely better, with a $4 market price, is roughly around $4. So you can do whatever you want to do with that. I don't know if this card was C-Play. I do already own my playset because why not? It's dirt cheap, and it's a pretty good card if you are looking to play looking into adding more monsters like, like adding more like Zoo with your deck, if you want to. Of course, speaking of Zoo, the current variation of Tri-Brigade runs Zoodiac, and why would it not? If you're looking to play Zoodiac Whiptail, by the way, with a $60 market price, the value is not that. There's one over here for $100, and then it's $115, and then it's $125 for Zoodiac Whiptail. Whew, man. Then you got Zoodiac Ram over here, a card with a $10 market price is roughly around $10. OTS 1 Pack 5. It's only going to increase in value, by the way. Little fun fact. And some people were saying in my last video the other day, in which I said Brubble can come off the ban list. They're like, V, Brubble can't come off the ban list. Oh yeah, this can easily come off the ban list. What, you think Konami wouldn't unlock this card so Zoodiac Tri-Brigade players get more options? Of course they will. They're doing it in a heartbeat. Why would they not do this? It makes sense to think this card won't come off the ban list. Now, don't get me wrong, there's 2 versions of Brawl Bull. You can get one for $1 right here in case you want to just get it to have it. No big deal. But if you want the original print out of Raging Tempest, which I currently own as well, I think you should, with a $3 market price, you want to get a first edition version, that's going to run you roughly around $5. This card will go up in value, no doubt in my mind, if and when it does come off the bans. And I do think Brawl Bull coming off the bans is inevitable as well. The fact that it comes with the ban list, with this next ban list coming out, would only help Tri-Brigade Zoodiac, and Tri-Brigade especially, which would be a good thing for those players, especially since Konami recently released a set to support them. It's just one hand washing the other. It's a smart move by Konami. Now, the only thing you can say against it is, well, there's no reprints. If there's no reprints, it becomes harder to get. And my only retort to that is, well, look at Thoroughblade. It has 2 printings. One's in the same 2017 Megaton that that guy was in. There he is right there. It doesn't matter. It's gonna come out. Just when. Once again, if we do see Brawl Bull come out, this does help Zoodiac players. Zoodiac Tri-Brigade players a lot. And as much as people say it's not gonna happen, how many searcher cards we have for specific archetypes in the game right now? In general, just in general, a lot, right? Like a lot. Like an insane, an uncomfortable amount of searcher cards. So much so, Joel Lockbird's in the meta because everything searches something. Like, that's how it works. Like, you got dinos with, they got Fossil Dig, Oviraptor, technically speaking, Miscellaneousaurus. You got Dragon Links, which that deck just says, what do I need? Okay, I'll just look for that. The deck featuring dragons. Like, so many decks search whatever they want to search. Adding 1 for Zoodiac Tri-Brigade does nothing. It just absolutely does nothing. It adds a little more consistency to a deck that is already established as a tier 1 deck. That's it. That's all it does. And if you are looking to play this deck, you might need an Alpha the Master Beast in your side deck. This card, with Starlight Rare with a $250 market price, is at $300. Now, before you go, V, that's a lot of money. That's not a lot of money. This card is going to be worth about $1,000. No doubt in my mind. And before you go, well, why? Because this card basically replaces almost every single kaiju in the game right now. In fact, not only does it replace a kaiju, it's better than a kaiju. How about them apples? If your opponent controls more monsters, you special summon it, bounce back. Oh, you still control more monsters, special summon it, smack your opponent's monster. Like, this card's insane. This card's almost a staple in side decks. And don't get me wrong, I didn't buy this card yet because $300, $9 for this card. I gotta buy my Solid Prosperities. But if you're looking to get a secret version of Alpha the Master Beast with a $28 market price, the value is roughly around $30 a copy. Why would you not buy this card if you're looking to play Zoodiac Tri-Brigade? This card it flows with your deck. Every deck can use it, but your deck it flows with. And if you are playing Zoodiac Tri-Brigade, once again, what smokes you out? Shadow Invoked. Technically Dogmatica, but Shadow Invoked. Shadow Invoked absolutely dunk on you. Just absolutely dunk on you. You can't do anything when that deck does what it wants to do. Alpha the Master Beast is exactly what you need to stop that deck. You get this card, you throw it in against that deck, they go Winda, you go Alpha, you bounce Winda, you laugh, and you get to go combo. Like, pretty good. You're going to want to definitely keep an eye on this card. Then we have Rescue Cat. Now, this card's not seen as much play in the new real iterations of Zoodiac Tri-Brigade, but then again, when we get the new cards in, it might change. Your opponent tries to do some kind of play to slow you down, you know, when I Lancia you can still go Rescue Cat and lock him out the game. Pretty ridiculous. Now, don't get me wrong, I do think Barrier Statue of the Winds needs to get banned, 100%. With that said, since it's not currently going to happen, and we do have a lot of events coming up, big events, you're going to want to play Rescue Cat. You at least test it out. There's a bunch of Rescue Cats that are worth a lot of money. I get that. And if you're looking at a 12-pack Booster 3 Rescue Cat with an $82 market price, it's $120. Of course it is. Why would it not be? Now, if you want the lowest rarity, I got you. Don't worry about it. We'll grab a random common. Hey, original print, Flaming Eternity. It's $10. The first edition is... This is a common, by the way. $10 as well. $30 for commons. The thing is, like, people aren't playing this card right now, but this doesn't mean the card's not going to be played in the new real iteration of the deck. I think it can be. In OCG, they are testing this card out, and we've seen this play in a lot of OCG decks, and in the TCG, that could also be a reality. And if it is, the price might go up even higher than a $10 common. We also have Infinite Permanents. Now, these are cards that both decks can use, and these are cards that are going to be coming back in a new meta. Infinite Permanents right now is insane, and if you don't have it, no big deal. You get to go for 19, or you can spend an extra $1 and get the Ultra Rares to have more dignity. That looks really nice. And if you want an original print Flames of Destruction Infinite Permanents with a $56 market price, the value for Unlimiteds, hey, 58, not bad. First edition is probably like 59, right? No, I'm joking. Of course they're not. First editions are roughly around $70 a copy each. Not bad still. These used to be 90s. Okay. Then you need Appaloosa. Both decks run Appaloosa. In fact, a lot of decks might start running Appaloosa because Appaloosa literally says, if everything fails, go into this card, pray your opponents have the answer, and maybe you get next turn. Who knows? That's fun. Let's figure it out together. Appaloosa is a phenomenal card. And yet, they have the alternate art, which looks really nice, to be honest with you. It's $7. Hopefully, in the new OTS set, we get an OT Appaloosa. That will look clean. Then we have the Ultra Rare, roughly around $8. The Secret Rare, roughly around $30. And the Starlight Rare, roughly around a gajillion dollars. Look at that. Why is that so much money? Then we have Divine Arsenal AA Zeus. Now, this card, I'm not going to talk about Starlight Rares. The Secret Rare alone, with a $76 market price, is roughly around, well, $74. Everyone needs one Zeus if you're playing either deck. Either deck, you need a Zeus. By the way, not just those two decks, but a majority of decks in the game can go into Zeus. If you run Talents, you should probably run Zeus because nothing feels better than playing Talents on your opponent who Drytrons you, taking that guy, swinging blindly, slapping a Zeus on it, and going, oh, this feels comfortable. Like, that's broken. Talents is broken as a card in general, but Zeus is also a broken card. You punish your opponent for doing the right thing. That's what Zeus says. Your opponent made a nice board, you dark rooted them, you made into your Zoo plays, whatever you did, you go into whatever you did, and then you make Zeus, and you go, time to get punished for doing the right thing. That's what this card says, and I really like that about this card. Then we have Ghost Spell. So every format is Ash Blossom Joy Spring featuring a hand trap. Last format, well, the current format we're actually in right now, is Ash Blossom Joy Spring featuring Phantasme, and then you can feature another card, because Phantasme basically just thins itself out. It's almost an Upstart Goblin going second. That's how good it is, except to put the body on board. And that's protection, but that's besides the point. I think in a new format, Ghost Spell becomes the blowout card. Once again, Invoke Shadows get hurt by Ghost Spell. It's a good card for them, against them, number one. Number two, this card is a good card against almost every deck in the meta, and this card hurts a lot of decks at key points in the meta. You have Ash, you have Ghost Spell. You have six things you can do to your opponent by holding 2 cards in hand that can shut them down. That's what that card says. Pretty broken, you say? Well, yeah, that's alright, I guess. Listen, if you want Ghost Spell at the cheapest price point, you can get the Dual Devastator version for roughly around $3. If you want the Original Print Secret Rare, Flames of Destruction with a $13 market price, okay, that's roughly around $30. And if you want a first edition version of this card, it's on sale. $48. Actually, it hasn't really changed in price, to be honest with you. $48 for Secret Rare Ghost Spell. This is definitely a card that you're going to want to pick up right now because it is going to be going higher in value as we enter the new meta. Right now, nobody's looking at it right now because there's almost nothing. It's decent, but for almost nothing. And in the new meta, it does everything. Paisanos, listen, it doesn't matter if you're playing Drytrons or Tri-Brigade. It really doesn't. You can still play Shadow Invoke and just smoke dudes left and right. It really doesn't matter what deck you choose. Just know that when the tier 1's up here, you have to find a deck that can beat the tier 1. The only thing I did in this video was show you the fact that Drytrons and Tri-Brigade are rising in value. But there's so many decks out there that nobody's looking at right now. So I can look at Drytron, Tri-Brigade, Dragon Link, Dinos, Shadow Invoked, and still have a good matchup against those decks. And it's up to you to figure out which one it is. Anyway, Paisanos, this is your boy V, and you guys all have a great day.